Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Tom Spark. Welcome back to another video. Today we're making an update list of my top 5 VPNs for the month of May in 2024. These VPNs are all A-tier VPN providers. I might add on a bonus one or something like that. Now you might be wondering, well Tom, how do you pick these VPNs? What makes these VPNs the best? Well, lucky for you, I have a website called vpntierlist.com. Additionally, I also have this data table here that shows you exactly why. So this is freely available to everybody, and it rates VPNs based on an aggregate of features. Of course, it's kind of an aggregate of each category, not just privacy, not just customer support, everything included. So that's what we're going to be discussing here today in the man cave. All right, guys. So first up on the tier list, of course, right now at least, not of course, is going to be, it's going to be, drum roll, it's going to actually be NordVPN. Now, as you can see here with Nord, if you use my link down in the description down below, you should be able to get this discount. Same with all the other VPNs. With Torguard specifically coming up next, we'll discuss a promo code, but all the other VPNs, as long as you click on the link in the description, you'll help support the channel through an affiliate link, and you'll get the best available price. Win-win. Just know this video is not sponsored by any of these VPN providers, though. All right, guys, so why is Nord number one right now? Well, it's just doing pretty well in every pretty much category. If we take a look at the tier list itself, you know, Nord does have some improvements to be made in a couple different areas, but as an aggregate, it's a very solid VPN. Very good graphical user interface, which means the interface itself is a pleasure to use, very easy to use. It works really good with streaming compatibility, which means it works to unblock pretty much all the major streaming services and different regions with those services. The company itself is pretty good on social media, not very toxic, and the community is not toxic either. Customer support is very fast and very solid. The application is very good. It also comes with some interesting bundled options as an option. It really could kind of improve some of the privacy characteristics of its website, you know, track users a little bit less, use a little bit more open source analytics and those kind of things. But as an aggregate, Nord is extremely easy to use, has a huge server network, probably the biggest one now. I think it has around 111 different countries, and that's one reason a lot of people like it. It's also got a lot of cool, interesting features in the application. I'll show you just in a second. It has mesh networking and stuff like that, which allows you to kind of remote into your own network or share LAN with other people to kind of do gaming, which is kind of interesting. Here's the application itself. It also has threat protection, which is kind of like an antivirus light built in, which is nice. As you can see, the application looks looks really good. And here's the mesh kind of feature. We can actually share files back and forth. So a very solid application. It's built to work on many different devices, whether that be Apple TV, Fire Sticks, and stuff like that. So as an aggregate, it's just a very good VPN. So link will be down in the description if you want to check out Nord. It's very interesting that it's kind of climbed its way up from the kind of lower of the middle range, but it's a very good VPN now. Next up, we have Torguard. Now, Torguard is probably the budget king. It's one of the VPNs I've liked here on the channel for a long time. Excellent speeds, very solid customer support and stuff like that. In terms of comparing it to something like Nord, you know, it's not as intuitive. It's not as fluid. It's not as like up to date in a lot of ways. And the applications actually don't get updated as often either. That said, Torguard specifically, it's very solid in terms of like its kind of policies and stuff like that. This is kind of what the application looks like right now. I need to kind of reinstall mine or something. I'm having some kind of issue. Torguard's applications are just a little bit buggy sometimes. Not quite as fluid or intuitive. But as a whole, you know, it is very cheap and the promo codes go all the time. Great simultaneous connections. You can use it on plenty of different devices. Some of the cons with Torguard, though, it doesn't have an Apple TV app. It's still in development for that. But, you know, comparing it with something like Nord, its privacy policies are a little bit better. You know, the analytics on the website are not quite as invasive. Still got a very good application. The pricing schemes are a little bit more consumer friendly. It's just kind of missing some of that polish that you see with some of these bigger VPN providers. And the server network isn't quite as big as NordVPN, so it's missing a couple locations. But outside of that, the GUI, like I said, it loses some points here for just some usability factors, but day to day you won't really care too much about that. So overall, definitely a solid VPN. The bundles aren't really quite as interesting to me. Something like NordVPN doesn't have any encrypted email, or it does have encrypted email, but it's a little bit out of date. They don't really update it that much. It doesn't have password managers, like some of those kind of things, antivirus built in. We see with some of these VPN providers nowadays. So I think Torguard does kind of need a little bit of a facelift, but it still reigns very high up on the tier list due to its just solid foundation. So next up, we have something like Surfshark. Now, Surfshark, you can get 2 free months from my link in the description down below. This is the one I've been personally using lately, just because I really like its user interface. It's just has a very good user interface on multiple applications. I'll show you that in a second. Here it is. Very good application on iOS too. I like that you get 2 free months here. So you get 2 years and 2 free months, and you also get that with other plans as well. Very cheap for any kind of duration, around $60 for 26 months. Very good price there. The One Plus package especially is a very good deal. You get Incogni built in, which is one of my favorite data broker removal tools. You also get antivirus, and Surfshark's antivirus is no slouch. Lately, I've been discussing it and reviewing it here on the channel. It's a fully fledged antivirus built into the VPN application itself with real-time protection that scans websites with the web protection feature that basically makes it so it's very hard to kind of infect your computer on purpose or on accident. I guess you probably might be able to still do it on purpose if you really want to. But Surfshark has a very good comprehensive suite of tools to really protect your computer, and that's what I really like about them lately. Definitely a very good VPN though as well. It's very similar to NordVPN. It's run by a sister company, kind of owned by the same kind of holders. So you're going to get good speeds, good streaming compatibility. Everything about it is pretty solid. Just like Nord though, it could have a little bit less tracking on its website, but not a big deal. Just kind of probably there to optimize sales. But definitely one you should check out. Next up is Hide.me. Now, Hide.me isn't as polished or as intuitive as something like Nord or Surfshark, but I do think it's a little bit more polished and intuitive to use than something like Torguard. It does include streaming compatibility built in, which I do like. Has very good simultaneous connections, around 10, and the pricing is also very affordable as well. This one I don't recommend quite as much to everyday people because some of the features I've noticed, like the sock-side proxy, can have issues sometimes. And the stream compatibility, while good, isn't quite as good as Nord. It doesn't have quite a big of a server network. But if you're someone who doesn't have like a gig speeds, this could be an option. It's based in Malaysia, which is kind of interesting. Definitely a solid VPN. This one I'm just kind of mixed on sometimes, just because for me the speeds aren't as good as some other VPNs like Nord or Surfshark specifically, or even Torguard. Outside of that though, there really isn't too much wrong with Hide.me. Check out the full review if you want to learn more. All right guys, lastly we have Proton VPN.